Adam Schefter reporting Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow gets the all clear as we approach OTAs, mini camps, and of course, training camp is just around the corner. Joining me now from Locked On Bengals, Jake Liscow. And Jake, I think we have to talk about Joe Burrow's year two in light of what we saw in year one. There were some good things that we saw. The offensive line, clearly a problem. They chose not to address that early in the draft, instead going with Jamar Chase. And I have to be honest, I have real questions about their ability to protect him, but they did add weapons here. So my question to you is, how good can Joe Burrow be in 2021? What kind of step can he take coming off this ACL injury?
The big question is the offensive line, and certainly the question for those that don't pay very close attention to the Bengals. This is what I'll say about the offensive line. There are three guys that accounted for 50% of the pressures that the Bengals allowed in 2020. Those three guys accounted for 35% of the Bengals snaps on the offensive line. Obviously, that's an overrepresentation of pressures to snaps. All three of those guys no longer with the team. Alex Redmond, Bobby Hart, no longer with the team. Mike Jordan, technically still with the team, but I honestly think he's fighting for a roster spot. He was their starting left guard last year, was involved with the play on which Joe Burrow got hurt. They replaced Bobby Hart with Riley Reif. I think that is a clear upgrade, even if the guy is on the wrong side at 30. Jackson Carman is expected to start day one at right guard. Fair to question a position transition there, but the team is very high on his ability to hit the ground running. And Jonah Williams and Trey Hopkins are both very fine starting offensive linemen in the NFL. A question at left guard, but a competition there with some veterans like Quentin Spain, Xavier Su'a-Filo, and second-year player potentially in the mix, Hakeem Adeniji. So some steps to take on the offensive line, but a coaching change could also make up some of that difference.
Yeah, and I like Quentin Spain. Obviously, they took steps to make the offensive line better. I have concerns about Riley Reif. And I think for me, I still have concerns about what a Zach Taylor offense looks like. Is this the right guy to shepherd Joe Burrow into that next echelon of players? Because what we saw last year, I think, points to a guy who says, okay, Joe, you can do the things that made you so good at LSU. We saw them play a ton of empty to get the ball out, to play to Joe Burrow's strengths. How much of your faith in his ability to take that next step is tied into the fit there with Zach Taylor?
I think there's a question there. I think that's fair to talk about. Zach Taylor, an unproven coach when he came to the Bengals, was not experienced as a quarterback's coach. And right. I think the take at the time was, we're not going to know what Zach Taylor is until he's had some time to develop as a head coach. And he came into pretty exceptional circumstances. I think he met some of his coaching staff at the Senior Bowl for the first time when he started coaching the Bengals, and then
that seems suboptimal.
Yeah, and then you have the COVID year, right? And so it's a tough time to become a head coach, but obviously not insurmountable. You look at Kevin Stefanski and the Browns becoming a head coach in the COVID season. They do fine. So certainly some question there. I do think you'll see the Bengals go more under center with that coaching change and in the offensive line room, bringing Frank Pollock in, and an emphasis, I think, on implementing more outside zone in the running game. They were the heaviest inside zone team in the NFL in 2021 or in 2020. And Zach Taylor comes from an outside zone heavy approach. Frank Pollock also comes from an outside zone heavy approach, comes from the Bill Callahan coaching tree. Obviously, Brian Callahan, the offensive coordinator in Cincinnati. And so these things come together and indicate that there could be a bit of a scheme change, more under center, more outside zone, which I think this coaching staff would rather run under center, much easier to run from under center in terms of the angles and the landmarks for the running back. And I think that you'll probably see with that some development in the play action game as well, where I think these coaches believe that play action can be more effective from under center than from shotgun.